What is up? Welcome into the Early Edge powered by SportsLine. I am your host, Alan Bell, and we have a great show lined up for you this Saturday. Let's take a look at how we did yesterday. Not a bad day. A little 4-2 action. The two-piece. Oh, my goodness. We lost it because of the end of that Hornets game. That Hornets and Cavs game had some wild calls all the way throughout. But again, a solid day, and Mikey coming through for us on the PGA Tour once again. And speaking of him, let's bring in the stars of the show. Look at the guys. M squared. Mikey, how we doing, buddy?
Good morning, guys. Doing well. Got a little construction outside that starts nice and early on the Saturday morning. Other than that, good. Can't wait for this weekend. 150 college basketball games today.
Man, that is awesome. Micah Roberts, got an action-packed sports weekend. How we doing over there, my man?
We're doing great. And, this is kind of like opening day. I love opening day baseball. This is opening day for NASCAR practice. And practice was it just didn't happen last season, the COVID, the last couple seasons. So I get to practice in a couple hours, get to watch that and see the new car on the new track at the Coliseum, Busch Light Clash, non-points race. It's going to be a wreck fest.
Yeah, a wreck fest. Like, I can't wait to see that in the LA Coliseum. It's the first time in there, correct?
That's correct. First time of a race of any kind. So, other than, Olympians.
Yeah. Wow. That's fantastic, man. Jay Smooth, the machine, as M squared laid out, a ton of college basketball on the slate today, man. What's good?
Hey, what's up, AB? Yeah, it's a crazy one. Spent like 4 hours last night trying to get through them all. There's a lot on the slate. You can't try to get everything done, but I did. So I got a lot of plays coming.
There we go. I like it. All right, now getting into the storylines that affect the betting lines for today. Micah Roberts, you are our registered expert here of being on both sides, both a former bookmaker and a expert sports bettor. Tell us what you're seeing out of the Super Bowl. What updates are you seeing out of Las Vegas so far?
Yeah, so we're, at the halfway point. Next week, everything's going to come in. You're probably going to see 90 to 95% of the bets happen from Friday to Sunday next week. But in the meantime, the lines moved from 3.5 to 4.5. 4.5's been two-way action on the point spread. And that's probably going to be a number we're going to see till next Friday, at least. I don't think you're going to see that change much. The total dropped a little bit down to 48, down from 50. And the money line's the unique thing here because usually you see the underdogs get piled on, and the ticket count is super high on the Bengals already. But the money has moved the Rams from $1.80. They bet the $1.90, and it's now $2 everywhere. And that's unusual for this early to take the favorite on the money line. So that could be telling of at least what some sharp people are thinking. Be interesting to see. But the cash, a little bit shaded towards higher on the Rams. Tickets on money line and the point spread are about 71% towards the Bengals. But the cash is the key issue here.
Now, Micah, what in your history, from what you've seen of so many, Super Bowl weeks and Super Bowl Sunday, what is it like in a sports book all week leading up and then on Sunday before the game? Is it just pure chaos?
Mostly it's pretty organized for the first 12 days, but that weekend, next weekend is just crazy. You have the novices that come in. So I think it's important to, it's very busy and you don't have a lot of time, but you got to, have somebody help them out because they need to know what's going on. They don't know what a point spread is. They just come in. They're like, tell me how much can I win for $100? Like $91 on the one. No, that doesn't sound good. Well, how much do I win on the Bengals? How about if they win plus 175? I'll take them. And that's how the story goes all the time. And you just have casual bettors, once a year bettors that come in and they like to get more for their bang. And so the Bengals money line will be attractive for those type of bettors.
Man, that's fantastic, man. That's phenomenal. Like, and just having that history of seeing it over and over and over. Now, Jay Smooth, you got a couple nuggets for us. We've got Baylor and Kansas today. We also have Duke, North Carolina. That old rivalry's coming back. Break it down for us, man. What should we see?
Yeah, I really want to talk about the big games that we're going to see today. Look, there's a lot of fun, small games to go find edges about, but what about those games that everybody wants to watch, that you want to have a betting angle on, that you want to know some of these tidbits that could help you maybe make a buck? Well, all right, let's do it. North Carolina, Duke. So this is going to be probably Coach K's last game at North Carolina, could be the last game against Duke, depending on how, postseason plays out. Against UNC, depending how postseason plays out. But yeah, I think Duke's probably getting this done. Personally, I'm not actually going to put a bet on it. But North Carolina, I mean, this is the reason why I'm not putting a bet on it is North Carolina 5-0 in the last 5 against the spread against Duke. North Carolina also 14-0 in their last 14 games at home straight up. So this is going to be a little tough, but I still think the story's there, right? This is like a big storied game. Roy Williams won both his last 2 games against Duke, so I wouldn't be shocked to see Coach K go out the same way. Going to be a good one to watch. Then Baylor, Kansas, man, this might shock some people, but Baylor 3-15 straight up in their last 18 games against Kansas. So they're getting the +2.5, +3 this morning. I think that's probably the right call. Baylor 1-16 straight up in their last 17 games when playing at Kansas. So they really have not been able to win this game. So definitely look for Baylor to lose, but it's probably going to stay close. But yeah, I lean Kansas, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you bring up Duke because I tell you what, we're going to jump into our site plays right now. And the first one up is Duke -3 against North Carolina. And the reason being is this: Duke enters the first match of the season against their hated rival, boasting a strong 18-3 straight up record. The Blue Devils 71% against the spread on the road and 77% against the spread after 4 or more days off. And we're going to also play Villanova -5 today against UConn. Villanova's hosting UConn, obviously at home, where they're 66% against the spread. Not to mention the Wildcats only allowing opponents 54.1 points per game at home this season as well. So we're going to take Duke -3. We're also going to take Villanova -5. So there's our site plays. But everybody came for you boys. M squared.
I like both those plays, Alan. I do like both those plays. So
I like them too, man. We got 2 nice favorites, low numbers. You know what I mean? We don't have to cover double-digit spreads, anything like that. But you know what? Everybody came to see what you boys have. M squared, it's your show. You got first at bat. What do you got, buddy?
All right, got some college basketball plays, 3 of them today. I'm going to start with Michigan State. Played them -2 at even money. I would play them all the way up to 3.5 if the line got there. I think Rutgers is getting a little too much credit in this one for playing on their home floor. Pretty distinct advantage for Michigan State in terms of them being better defensively versus the Rutgers offense. Rutgers defense is fine. They're both very good defensive teams, but there's a little lacking in terms of the offensive efficiency there. I think even in this situation on the road, they need to be closer to a 2-possession favorite in this game. So I'm going to lay the short number with Michigan State. Next play, I'm going to Kentucky. This one is at +1. I actually have a little play on it at -1 from last night. I make Kentucky -2.7 in my simulations. Similar story here, except for on the defensive side. Alabama isn't quite up to par in terms of defensive efficiency in these kind of matchups. I expect Kentucky to have a pretty big edge in terms of getting and generating second chance points, which should keep them in a competitive game at the very least. I think Sheboy's going to have a big game here against Alabama. So take Kentucky +1. And then my final play, Syracuse-Louisville over 146.5. Love the way Syracuse could put up points on the board. Also love that they are pretty weak in terms of defensive efficiency. If you've watched them play, they are just giving up a ton of points, a ton of great looks. They seem to always find ways to be in these competitive games like this. I think this one should be closer to 155 than 146, so take the over in Syracuse-Louisville.
There we go. I like him. Now, Micah Roberts, coming to you, buddy. You got a couple plays for us, both from the Super Bowl and tomorrow's race, the NASCAR Busch Clash. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Hit us with it, buddy. What do you got?
Yeah, Busch Light Clash tomorrow. Denny Hamlin +175 over Kyle Larson. Now we come in, I'm going to have to play a couple odds to win as well, but they're all going to be guys. We don't have any data on the track. We don't know how it's going to run. It's a flat quarter-mile track. We don't have any data on how these cars run. We've seen them practice a couple times in the last month, but we haven't seen them. So everything that we saw with this last car, the like 4 or 5 years, that data's gone, and it's like you're starting from scratch. So now you have to go, who are the best short track drivers? I've got, Denny Hamlin, 10 career wins on the short tracks, which includes Bristol, Richmond, and Martinsville. Martinsville would be probably the most we could compare the most because that's a flat half-mile track, and Denny Hamlin's the best at Martinsville. So you got that. Martin Truex, 6 wins on short tracks the last 3 years. And then you've got Kyle Busch, 16 wins on short tracks, and Joey Logano has 6 wins on short tracks as well. So those are the 4 guys I'm looking at. And then I saw the value at Circus Sports plus 175 against Larson here, and I just like too attractive to pass up with so many unknowns other than the driver's ability. So that's where I'm at there. And it is going to be a wreck fest. I promise you that. And they're hoping that it's going to be something to grab new fans in LA. The LA fans, they don't care about NASCAR. So, but they're using the Super Bowl as a promo. That's how this whole idea came in, because they were scared going head to head with the Super Bowl for the Daytona 500. So they pushed everything back, brought it to LA, and it's a marketing ploy, and I hope it works for them. Good luck with that. But the Super Bowl, let's talk about this. I've been going over several angles, and I saw your tweet yesterday, Alan, with the Burrow. It makes total sense if you like the Bengals to win, bet Burrow to win the MVP as well. But how about the guy that maybe stops Burrow or the Bengals from winning? I'm not taking the Rams yet, but I got a scenario with Von Miller. I think he's going to have a great game. He's playing his best right now, healthy over the last 7 games, 7 sacks in his last 7 games. I believe he's got 12 tackles for a loss as well. He is playing at his best. And, the thing that brought me to this was the push that the Titans got in the middle, pushing up into Burrow, moving him out a little bit, and there's just easy sacks. Aaron Donald's the best at that. And so I think you're going to have a situation where Von Miller can get the strip sack, get a couple of them. And when he turns the game around, no matter Cooper Kupp does his thing, Stafford does his thing, unless it's like 400 or 4 TDs, game momentum changing. I saw it before with Von Miller against Cam Newton, who was scoring like 35, 38 points a game and completely dominated him right out of the gate, fumble, turn the game around, MVP. He can do it again. He's 60-1, over 3.5, tackles $1.30, and over on whatever sack total you'll find as well.
Yeah, I love both of those plays. You're right. Von Miller, the last 7 games, he's been an absolute monster, excuse me, for the LA Rams. And like you said, Miller's done this before in a Super Bowl, right? Like this is nothing new, to him. Now, real quick, Micah, Justin, we'll get to you just 1 second here. Question for you in the chat. Our man Trent says he likes Denny Hamlin as well. Coliseum racetrack resembles the short tracks Hamlin grew up on during his Cup career, and he's competed in exhibitions at comparable short tracks throughout Virginia. What do you think about that? It kind of aligns exactly with what you were just talking about.
Absolutely. I like him. I'm going to have him as well. I got a little higher odds on that, but it's one of those things. It's just going to be so many wrecks. So it's almost like the opposite of a super speedway race, where the value of each driver's rating goes down because there's a higher possibility that there's going to be a wreck, and they'll be involved even if they didn't do anything wrong. And this is one of those situations. So I put everything down. I cut everything down, down to 25% of what I normally bet on this race.
Nice. I love it, man. Jay Smooth, buddy, you know what? You're bringing us home today. What do you got, my man?
Yeah, they save the best for last, right? So let's do it. I'm going to start. I got 3 games today. I'm going to jump in right with my agreement with Mike on Michigan State -2. This is too small. You can get it like -1.5 now too against Rutgers. And look, Rutgers has been great at home. Don't get me wrong. This has been a very strong road team, but by my simulations, getting this to -1.5 means giving Rutgers a home court advantage around 6 to 7 points, maybe even bigger if you base it on recent play. And that's too much. They shouldn't be getting that much. Michigan State is playing like a top 50 team, top 30 team, maybe even better right now. They are just getting good looks, good shots. And over time, that should mean that they win these types of games by more than 2 points. So again, Scarlet Knights 10-2 at home, but I still think they're going to lose this one. I got this at 9.5 is what my model's coming in at. So actually, no, sorry. My recent play model has this one coming in around 9.5. I'm actually going to make it 6.5 officially, but still a lot of value. Let's go with that. Agree with Mike. You don't really need to hear much more, right? South Alabama +3. This one doesn't really make any sense. I got the wrong team favored in that. One of our favorite phrases. I think South Alabama should probably win by 2 points. So you're getting a good 5.5 points of edge, because I think BetMGM is hanging 3.5 on this, which I love. But try to get +3. We'll take the full possession here. South Alabama is the better team. We just picked on Georgia State a couple days ago. We won with that Troy pick +7.5. Well, today I expect South Alabama to also be an outright winner, but I love the 3-point cushion if we don't get the win. And then lastly, 6:30 p.m. game, Alabama A&M versus Southern U. A little SWAC, man. I mean, the SWAC is just so much fun. These teams are honestly, just most of them are terrible. Alabama A&M, one of those terrible teams, minus 11.5. It really just isn't enough. I like minus 12, minus 12.5, fine. Even minus 13, if it starts moving, is okay here. Southern U should win this game by like 15 points, 16 in the model right now. AAMU lost to Prairie View by 24 and then to Texas Southern by 34 in its last 2 road games. On the road again today, and Texas Southern and Southern U are pretty similar in talent. So 30 is not out of the question today, but I really like minus 11.5. It's just too low. I think they get dominated.
There we go. I like a little Saturday domination. That's what we need, right? In the chat, really quick, I laughed at this. Our man Dan Hurdy says, Coach is at home right now eating an omelet for some reason, blaming AB that it's burnt. You know what? I agree with you, and I hope that Coach is seeing that right now. Also in the chat, man, Elliot says, life is not the same without getting my marching orders. Oh, just you wait. Don't worry. You're going to get those today. But first, let's take a look at our plays and our board. You know what? Grab your paper, grab your pencil, as Coach always says. And it is glorious. M squared's on Kentucky +1, Syracuse, Louisville over 146.5, as well as Michigan State -2. J Smooth on South Alabama +3, Michigan State -2 as well, and Southern -11.5. Our man Micah Roberts in the NASCAR Busch Clash tomorrow. Denny Hamlin +175 against Larson. Von Miller over 3.5 tackles, and Von Miller to win MVP at +6,000. Site plays, we're going Duke -3, Villanova -5, and the 2-piece for today, a nice Saturday healthy meal of +198, Rice money line, and Charlotte on the money line. So, like I said, excellent board today. And Elliot, don't you worry about it. You know why? Because you've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window for J Smooth, M squared, Micah Roberts, and Noah in the chat, and the jeweler who keeps it all together. This is the Early Edge. Thank you so much. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.